Okay, looks like we are on. Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are having a wonderful night. Sorry, I was getting a little bit of technical difficulty, but we have survived and we have conquered. So it looks like we're okay now. How is everyone tonight? Hope you guys are all doing wonderfully. Um, let's do some quick shout outs here tonight. As you can kind of see, I'm in a little bit of a different space here. New look because I have to use the crafting desk, which is next to my sewing machine. So yeah. Sorry, let me just rearrange the screen. So let's do some hellos to everybody. Hey, Miss Kimberis. Glad you are here tonight. Diane Watson is here. Hey, Diane. Sandra K. Hey, girl. How you doing? And Judy Hebert is here. I see Velia Torres. Hello, Velia. Mary Jane Ellinger is here. Margaret Hassler is here. Hello, hello. Vera Weeks. Hello, hello. Hello, Miss Remo J. Hope you're feeling better. Glad that you're here tonight. Marie Mitchell's here. Katie Crafts is here. Oh, okay. The chat just kind of jumped. So, but Sylvia Damaris is here. Hey, Sylvia. Let's say hello to Claudia Lautenschlager. And Tantrum is here. She's saying kia ora. Kia ora. Glad you made it here tonight or today, this afternoon, wherever you may be. Guess who it is? It's Miss Nancy. And Linda Faust is here. Hello, Linda. And Florence Goff is here. Hey, Florence. Miss Tiffany is here. Just saying hi. I'm going to put you on the TV, though, because I'm using my phone for photo stuff. Okay. Glad you made it here tonight. S. Taylor is here. Hello, hello. Julie Centers is here. Kathleen Klein from Illinois is here. Hello, Kathleen. And Carol, is that Kowalski? She's saying hello. I apologize if I butchered your name. Sheila Willis is here. She's saying good evening. Mozilla, hey, how you doing? Cheryl Clute is here. Hey, Cheryl. Haven't seen you in a while, but glad you made it here tonight. And Jackie is here. That's DVD Stitch Art. So Terry is here. Hey, so Terry. And just smile. Just smile. Glad you made it here tonight. Is a crafting desk something you do anything on? Wait, is a crafting desk something you do anything on? Yeah. Usually if I'm doing other things other than sewing, this is where I usually am, just making cards. Tonight we'll be doing some Christmas ornaments. Sometimes I do wreath making. I'll do gift baskets on a live. Just general crafts other things that I do other than quilting or sewing. So this is where I usually am. Well, hello, Miss Soteri. I'm glad you made it here tonight. Okay. I had MRI today, purchased a cake pattern. The shop is going online next week. They're sending my patterns. Oh, I'm glad you got the pattern. So, do I have the pattern? Yeah, so the pattern that Remo J is talking about, let me switch to it's actually this pattern here. I know it's spelled backwards, but it's called the Quilty Cake by the Quilty Shop. And when we looked at the website, we couldn't find this pattern booklet, but I think Remo J actually reached out to the daughter of the owner on Instagram, and they're saying that they're updating the website. So she was able to actually get this pattern Again, it's called the Quilty Cake by the Quilty Shop. I know, again, I do apologize that the words are backwards there, but you can kind of see what the pattern is. Glad you got this, Remo. And I'm not sure if there is an accompanying kit. I didn't see one. They didn't have the fabrics available when we were there at the shop, but it does specifically use a specific type of fabric. But of course, you can make it in any fabric that you want. So glad you got this. Okay, liking your earrings. So thank you, Remo. Do I have earrings? Oh yeah, I do. Didn't realize I had them on. Okay, so what are we doing here tonight? We are crafting. And, you know, I just kind of realized something, that Thanksgiving is already next week. Holy cow. And if you joined us on the Zoom chat this past weekend, you know that, or maybe you don't know, but I did get a call from my mother saying that she wanted to get some ornaments, or she wanted me to have some ornaments done. 60 of them to be exact. And I said, woman, you are crazy, but she's mom, so I can't really argue with her on that. So I said, okay, I better start get cracking on it. So this is, well, I got 2 of them done. I'm not quite happy with this one. I think I'm going to just embellish it a little bit more. This is one that I had from last year. And this is the style of ornament that I'm going to be doing tonight. If you've never made ornaments before, this is actually a very good one to start off with. Simple, kind of quick to do. Maybe it takes about 45 minutes to an hour. It just depends on how much work you want to put into this. Very, very simple to make. And this, I mean, in this ornament here, I just made it in like the last 30 minutes. Not 100% happy with it. Sorry, I do have a window open because I need to get the air circulating in here. So if you hear cars or background noise, just understand that there is a window open. But what was I saying? Yeah, I made this in about 45 minutes or so, and not happy with the ribbon, or I don't know, I need to fix it somehow, so I might be adding more stuff to it just to kind of play with it. But this is the style of ornament that I'll be doing. So I've got 2 of them made. Okay. Hello, Miss Kelly Quilts and Crews. How are you tonight? Hope you're having a wonderful night, and thank you for joining. Let me just adjust this microphone. Okay, where did my styrofoam ball go? So I'm using here a 3-inch styrofoam ball. If you type in exclamation supplies, I think I put most of the supplies that I could think of that I'm going to be using. And then other than just general crafting stuff. So, yeah. So let's get to it. We might not be able to complete the ornament tonight, but at least you can get the basics of how to layer and tuck in the fabric here, or how to get the pieces ready. All the embellishment stuff you can kind of, you can kind of do it on your own. I don't think, but so yeah. Okay, love mom, they will make you crazy. Yes, they do, Remo. Ain't that the truth? Cute idea with the foam ball. I've only done the folded fabric, no sew type. These, Kelly, this style of ornament is actually a lot, for me, it's a lot quicker. So, which is why if I do need to make some ornaments or some kind of gift very quickly, this is usually the style that I will do it in. So, now I'm just using tape measure, or what is this? A dressmaker's tape measure. And if you've never done any kind of ornament making before, here's a rundown. So I don't know if the light will catch it, but there's a line that's right here that goes all around the entire ball. I'll call that the equator. There you can kind of see that indentation of that circle. I'll call that the North Pole, and there's a marking with this little bump here. That's the South Pole. You can't really see that. So North Pole, equator, South Pole. Okay, this is a 3-inch styrofoam ball. You do want to use the styrofoam balls that are smooth. There are other styrofoam balls where it's textured, and they're not easy to work with. So you want to get the styrofoam balls that are smooth. They usually come in a 6-pack. You can find it at Hobby Lobby. You can find it at Michael's, or you can even order it from Amazon. And you want, again, I'm using the 3-inch. There is a 6-inch version, which you could use this technique to decorate a 6-inch version if you want to just make a bigger ornament. I've done a few of these, and it's not any more difficult. It's not any more easier either. So, okay. So what am I going to do? So I am, first of all, on that equator line there, I'm just going to mark an X. Just take a regular pen and just mark an X. That's my starting point. From that X, I'm going to measure. Now, there's 8 sections with all of these, with the fabric. So I'm kind of dividing this whole entire ornament into 8 different sections. And when I did the math, it's about 1 1/8 inches, somewhere around there. So I'm just going to, around that equator, I'm just going to put a mark every inch, 1 1/8 inch. This does not have to be exact. The exact measurement is actually 1 1/16, or 1 3/16 or something. But I'm just going to round it to 1 1/8. So I'm just going around the ball. Going to mark it right there. There, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. 6. 7, and there's the 8th one. Yeah, so okay, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 8th one. Okay, it's not, when you get to that last section, or when you do that last marking, sometimes that last section might be slightly smaller, but you're not really going to notice a difference. So so if you're using a 3-inch ball, your measurement 1 1/8, and that last one might be smaller, it might be shorter, or it might be larger, but as long as it's not drastically different, you'll be okay. Okay. If you want to, you can do larger sections. So sometimes if I'm really in a rush, I'll do 4, or just divide this whole entire ball into 4 sections. But 8 is a good number. I would not do any more than that, because then each section just becomes a little too small. Okay. Kelly says, cute idea with the foam ball. I've only done the folded fabric. I think I read that, but okay, we'll read it again. I've always initial and date ornaments. Do you? I actually don't. I should, just, it's like putting a quote label on there. That's a good idea. And I'm curious now, I'm always looking for ornament ideas. Well, here's another ornament ideas. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, and this is where the north and south pole of this ball comes into play. I'm gonna just take the measuring tape and I'm gonna use it as a guide. And what I'm doing here is I'm just gonna take the edge of the tape, line it up with the mark that I have, and line it up right there toward the center of the north pole. And you can this does not have to be exact. You can kind of eyeball this and just draw a line right there. So what we're doing is we're going to create the markings, and we're eventually going to just kind of cut into this styrofoam ball. And these lines here, they're going to become our cut lines. And so I just went from the South Pole back to that marking on the equator. Now, when you get comfortable with doing this, you can actually just kind of line up everything from the North Pole to that marking on the equator line that you just did, and then lining it up on the South Pole right there, and just draw your line all the way across. Oops. Now if it shifts, no problem. Just redraw the line. Of course, when I do this on a live, it doesn't work out, but we make it work. Okay, or if you have problems with that, just do half at a time. Okay, and so, okay, this is one of those crafts where, you could do it outside, like if, it's something you can travel with. So if you're waiting at like a doctor's office, you could probably have all your stuff pre-made. Of course, probably won't be able to add all your embellishments, but at least you can do the fabric tucking, which I'm about to show you. And that's really the main part that you're probably going to want to watch me do if you've never made this style of ornament. Okay. That was pretty good. Okay, I think it's just easier for me to just do half at a time, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just drawing these lines on the top part, and I will eventually go and do the same thing on the bottom half of the styrofoam. And we'll do the same thing. So from the South Pole to the equator. Sound like a geography teacher. I'm just gonna line this up a little better. There. That's pretty good. Oops. Okay, so what is everybody working on tonight? Or are we just watching? I know some of us got some Christmas stuff or Christmas gifts that we need to continue on, so I'm one of them, which is why I'm working on this tonight. Okay, so there I got my styrofoam all kind of marked up into the different sections. Okay, so that's that. Now for the fabric. Where did I put the fabric? Okay. You actually don't need a ton of fabric for this. If I think you could make like at least 6 ornaments if you have a fat quarter. So I'm going to use this particular fabric. I'm sorry, I do not know the name of this fabric. I do know that I think I purchased it at Joann's. Again, I don't know what the name of it is, and the selvage didn't have any information on it. I got this years ago for ornament making, and I overestimated how much I needed. So, but in terms of fabrics, if you get a fat quarter, you can make I would say at least 6 ornaments, if not more. So I'm going to use this print, and I'm also going to use this I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's like swirls that are that have silvery swirls on there. Okay. Years ago, let's see, Vero Weeks is saying years ago I made some ornaments similar to this and used the satin wrap balls. They end up unraveling, and made a big old mess. Ooh, okay, that's good to know. I actually have used satin on this particular technique, but before I actually before I started using or placing the fabrics, I actually burnished it a little bit so that it wouldn't fray and unravel. So that might be something to consider. And Kelly's Quilts and Cruises is asking, is this method called kimekomi? Yes, it is. It's based on a Japanese technique of ornament style. Or maybe that's the wrong name. I'm not sure. When you mentioned cutting into the foam, that's what jumped into my head. Yeah, actually, Kelly, you are correct. Let me put it in the chat, how to actually spell it, so you can kind of search for other tutorials on this method. So there it's. So if you want to get like in more detailed instructions about how to do ornament styles of this method, it's called kimekomi. It is a Japanese kind of ornament technique. Traditionally, it's made with the ball is not a styrofoam. It's actually a whole bunch of rubber bands that are kind of wrapped up together into a big ball. And they don't use the traditional kimekomi ornaments that I've seen don't use fabric. They actually use string. And what they do is they wind it up round and round and round and round and keep going around the ball. And they create some very, very intricate designs. Kimekomi actually, I think in Japanese it translates to tucking. And so that's how the name of this particular technique, or that's where the name comes from. Okay. In more modern times, the kimekomi ornaments, even in Japan, they do use fabrics, but it's a lot more elaborate than what I'm doing here. So, okay. Oh, by the way, this template, it's just well, you can see that this template has seen better days, but basically you just cut a strip of this. I'm just using cardboard. You can use template plastic. Cut it to about 2 inches wide. I trimmed this one down, but you can just cut a 2-inch wide strip of cardboard, and then just kind of taper it down to like this oval shape. And I think the total length of this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6. So if you get a 2 by 6 inch wide piece of cardboard, you can kind of just kind of draw like an oval shape to it, and you can kind of create your own template. The other thing I've seen people do is they just cut 2-inch strips of fabric by 6 inches, and they don't even make a template like this. They just actually just start tucking the fabric in, and they'll trim off the rest. So I choose to do it this way because I kind of feel like this saves a lot more of the fabric. And again, this template has seen better days. So 1, 2, 3, last one. Okay. I could do a few more. Yeah. I don't want to waste the fabric. But this craft kind of does. I mean, eventually your fabric will just look like Swiss cheese after a while. So I'm just gonna make the most out of it and try not to waste it so much. Okay, let's see. Theme song, thank you for being my friend, Golden Girls. Okay. Sandra K says she's binding a quilt and watching you. So thank you, Sandra. Judy Hebert is, I'm still ripping out my Crown Royal bags. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sorry to hear that, Judy. And Sylvia Demara says, I'm working on some firefly blocks, okay. S. Taylor is hand quilting a quilt, and you are keeping me company on the TV. All right, S. Taylor. Let's see. Kelly Quilts and Cruises says, I did a bit of quilting on my daughter's table runner earlier today, now just watching and having tea. Kim Burris says, I had family all weekend, caught up. Laundry's caught up yesterday, so I rested today. Okay, tomorrow we'll start sewing on Christmas gifts. All right. Katie Kraft says, organizing fabric for mini Christmas tree wall hanging. Have my test one done, and Rachel, so she's making 7 more. Oh, no problem, Kelly. She's saying she figured she butchered the name, but I knew exactly what you were talking about. Confident Quilter is here. That's Gladys L. Paul. Hello, Gladys. Katie Kraft says, my sister had a pen pal from Japan back in the 60s. She sent silk wrap balls to my family. They were beautiful. Yes, these style of ornaments, again, they're very, very ornate. They're heavily embroidered, or sometimes, and you know, when they're given as gifts, they're kind of a big deal in Japan. Hello, John here. Glad that you made it here tonight. Okay, so I know the camera, it might not be picking up on it, but I did trace a number of, using the templates, I kind of traced out this shape on the fabric. Sorry, I can't talk tonight. So now it's time to cut it out. And now you can use a scissors, but if you're comfortable with just kind of freehand cutting with your rotary cutter, I say use the rotary cutter. This does not have to be exact. And you'll understand why when you start seeing me place the fabric inside the styrofoam ball, because these are cut a little oversized and you'll be tucking in the edges anyway. So You just want to make sure that it's long enough and that it's wide enough. So as you can kind of see here, I'm just going for it. I'm not really, or I'm trying to stay on the line, but if I go off, I don't really care. So we need a total of 8 of these pieces of fabric. I'm going to do 4 using this print and 4 using this white colored one. Okay. Now, of course, you could use a scissors to cut these out if you feel safer that way. But again, if you're comfortable with just kind of freehand cutting with your rotary cutter, I say go for it because you'll find it much faster. And I'm just going for it. I'm just going to cut this last one. I think I made 5, but that's okay. Okay, just be careful that you don't cut your other hand. Or any of your little flanges off. Medical term there. Okay. And like I said, you're going to make Swiss cheese out of your fabrics. Some of these larger pieces, though, I will throw these in my crumb bin. Even if it is Christmas fabric, I don't care. I'll just use it and sew it to make something. So this one will go in there. Okay. Okay. Now to cut the white. And this one I know you can see because it is white, so I'll cut that. And again, I'm not being so exact with this. Just the general shape is good enough. There's one. That's 2. Somehow that one looks a little bit too narrow, so I'm going to cut it a little wider. And here's 3. And 4. Okay, so 1, 2, got 4 of the white and 4 of the print. That's all the fabric cutting we're going to do. Hi, Milster. Thanks for joining here tonight. Glad you made it. Okay, so I'm going to use a box cutter for this next step. You can use, if you have an X-Acto knife, you could use that. Just anything to kind of cut open or slice open these markings that you did. So just start from one end, slide the blade down. I tend to put the ball on the table and just roll it all the way through. I don't like to hold it and cut it because, well, ask me why. Because had an accident once where my hand kind of slipped and cut my wrist. So I feel like it's a little safer for me to handle it this way. So because I'm right-handed, I'm kind of rotating the ball, spinning it left this way, and I have my left hand on the opposite end. So even if I do slip, I'm not going to cut anything. Just make sure that nothing's here. Yeah, I've had a number of accidents like that, or close calls, I'll say. And this blade is just going right through the ball. Okay, I'm cutting about a 1/4 inch down. The idea of this is to just kind of create an opening. We're not doing surgery on the ball itself, so we're not trying to split this whole thing in half. Just about a 1/4 inch to at most maybe 1/2 inch is good. And usually you do not want to do like multiple cuts or run the blade multiple times through the same cut. There. And then the last one is right here. And I'm just running. This blade is very, very sharp, so it's running through this ball like butter. Right. And okay, so we got our cuts into the styrofoam ball. I think we got all of them. Yep, we do have all of them. Okay, so this is an artist's palette knife that I'm using. I refer to this as my tucking tool. I'm just going to use that to open the cuts a little bit wider so that I'll have an easier time to tuck in the edges of the fabrics. Now, if you don't, you can usually find these at Michael's in the paint section. If you don't want to use this, some other things that you can use. If you are a cake decorator, this is a decorating spatula. It'll work the same way. It's just 10 times larger. Now, if you don't have a spatula like this, the other thing you can use is I've seen people actually use a Phillips screwdriver, or not a Phillips, but a flathead screwdriver. That'll work. Basically, you just need something kind of sturdy and flat. I've also seen people use upholstery needles that are kind of a little bit thicker and they're very long. Personally, that's not my favorite tool to use, but it can be done. And now plastic knives, yeah, although they're very thick, I have seen people use that as well. So again, you just want something flat that can kind of slide in through this, slide into the cut that you made on the styrofoam ball. Okay. Sorry about that. I would totally cut my finger. Please don't, Kelly. Would an orange peel rotary template work for this? Yes, it would. If you're talking about like, I do have the Missouri Star orange peel template. I think the regular size one, it's definitely big enough. I'm not sure about the mini, but basically you want that shape. So if you do have an orange peel template that is at least 6 inches long and 2 inches wide at the widest spot, that'll work perfect. Okay, so in fact, I was thinking about actually just using that for tonight, but I don't know where I put it. Ain't that strange? Where you clean up stuff and you can't find it afterwards. Okay. So we got the ball pretty much prepared. We're ready to start tucking our fabrics in. So here's how we do it. Now, some people will use a glue stick and they will kind of glue the fabric on just to hold it. What I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm just going to show you how to tuck in the fabric, and then you'll see why some people like to use that glue stick. Because what happens here is I'm going to tuck in the edges of the fabric right into those crevices that we just cut open and widened. And what tends to happen is I'm tucking both sides at the same time. But what can happen is if you tuck one side, the other side might pop out. And so having a glue or gluing it using a glue stick, it kind of helps the fabric to just stay put and not shift around so much as you're tucking it in. Okay. Yep. See what happened as I started putting the fabric on this side, the other side kind of popped out, so I can kind of re-tuck that side in. Okay, I'm hoping that the camera is grabbing this. There we go. Okay. When you have excess, sorry, let me see if I can zoom in on this camera. There we go, that's better. So when you have excess fabric like this, you can either find a spot and just kind of tuck it in. And that's what I'll do there. But if it's a lot of excess, you can also just take your scissors or take your snips and then kind of just trim off a little bit of it. And then tuck in the rest. Okay, now we got our first piece in. Okay. And I'm going to, of course, alternate it with the white fabric and the print fabric. So we did the white, and now we do the print. So notice that I always start, whenever I start tucking the fabrics in, I'm starting at the widest point or near the equator. And then I'm working my way down to either side of the poles. So and I will work my way down the other side. Okay. And at first this tucking might be like, it might take you a while, but once you get the hang of it, you'll start doing it really quickly. Hey, Miss Debbie. I'm doing fine. Okay. Whoops. Now, if you don't like, or if you mess up on something, you can always pull it out and retuck it in. Okay. I kind of didn't align it correctly because notice that I do have a lot of extra fabric there, but I've covered enough on this end So I'm not going to worry about it so much. I'm just going to trim all of this off. And whatever's excess, I'm just going to kind of shove it back into one of the crevices. Or tuck it there. Okay, now this will happen because as I tucked in this fabric, it pulled on this white fabric there, and you can kind of see it kind of got untucked. So that's where having or placing the glue on the ball and then just gluing the fabrics down, that's where that can help because the fabric shifted. Okay, so I might need to take this one out, but I think that looks fine for now. I can kind of, okay, so that'll go there, and I can start tucking in this one. Oh, no, that's not going to cover it. Just laying it on, and yeah, that'll cover. That's good. Okay. If you want to, like, I cut this kind of a my template is a little too narrow. I think this kind of whittled down to maybe 1.5. So if you want to, you can make it wider, and that'll probably be a lot easier, especially if you're just making your first one. In fact, I should actually throw this template away and make another one. Oops. Okay. Where is the cut? Yeah, we'll cut that excess off there. Trim all of that down. And then I think it's right there. Okay, so this is something that I can show. So I kind of created like a big indentation right there because I was not hitting the seam or right where the cut was. Not to worry, because the ribbon is actually going to cover all of that up. So that's one way to kind of hide those type of mistakes or errors. And that's partially why I put the ribbon on there. And you can also use like your top bow to kind of cover mistakes like that. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Now, if this or if that were in the center here, yeah, I would kind of worry because that might show. Okay. Doo-doo-doo. Okay. And it's usually at this point I have something on Netflix playing or I start talking to myself or I start listening to an audiobook. Let me pause and see if anybody's got questions. Hey, Lori. Thanks for joining us here. Hi, Barb. Glad you made it here tonight. And I gotta make 60 of these ornaments, or different styles of ornaments. This is just since this is the easier for me, at least, I figure I start with these and then I'll get into the harder ones later. And I'm gonna trim off all of that excess. Oh, that went flying. Okay. Let's see. So I started this a couple of weeks ago where during a live, sometimes people, I don't know, just to get a discussion going, I guess. I try to have these, what I'm calling questions of the lives. And so, question for you all is, well, what are your plans for this Thanksgiving? And are you looking forward to having a certain type of holiday dish? I know for myself, well, first of all, my plans for Thanksgiving is actually going out adventure hiking again. So I will be in Las Vegas with spending time with a friend. Then I will be heading into western Utah for the latter half, or during Thanksgiving weekend, in which if the weather permitting, I will be visiting Bryce Canyon National Park and just kind of exploring that general area since I haven't been there before. Every time I've ventured out into Utah, I've gone to the eastern side, to places like Moab, Blanding, and such. So this time I figured let's go to the western coast and I'll just drive in from there. I wanted to go back to Moab, but the airfare, as well as the hotels, it just wasn't in the budget this time around. So I decided, you know what? I've been to Moab twice already, and I figure let's explore a different part of Utah. So I'll be there. But what is everybody planning for your Thanksgiving? You have family coming over. My family is going to be, well, I think we're all split up in every which direction, to be quite honest. Mom, of course, is staying home. And I'm not sure what my brothers are doing. But then again, they got their own families too, so. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was out of camera. Let me zoom just a tad out. Well, not in, out. There. Okay. Okay. As far as what do I like to eat around the fall, you know, my favorite pie, or one of my favorite pies, is pumpkin pie. So I am definitely looking forward to having some pumpkin pie. Even though I shouldn't be eating it because, again, I got to watch my sugar content, sugar intake. But you know what? I will kill myself running and exercising an extra 5 minutes just to have a slice of pumpkin pie. Yeah. You once long ago, I bought one of those 12-inch pumpkin pies from Costco, and I ate that whole thing by myself in one sitting. And I did not feel guilty about it at all. Yeah, pumpkin pie. What else do I like? Banana cream pies. Apple pie. I'll eat it. It's not my favorite type of pie. Custard pie or egg custard pie. Yeah, love that. Of course, I used to hate when I was working in the bakery. This Thanksgiving was our worst holiday, and I used to hate making or baking off all those pies. Yeah, it was a lot of work. When you got orders for 40,000 pies. Oh boy. That's a lot of pies to make. Sorry if I'm out of view. Okay. So Barb says that she's going to her daughter's for a traditional dinner. Love all the food. Remo says same on you. Not sure. More likely will be home with wife and daughter. That's Jim. Oh, shame on me. Okay, shame on me. Yes, I know, Remo, but you only live once. But again, I will exercise extra just to have a slice of pumpkin pie. Okay, and this is the last piece. What do you know? Cut that part off. Good night, Villia. Thanks for stopping by. Oh boy, what time is it? Oh, we've been on for over an hour. Or just about. Okay. Jim says he likes pumpkin or cherry pie. Barb is saying, I love your turkey bowling story. Oh gosh, those were the good old days. Yeah, for those of you who don't know that story, I used to work at a grocery store back when I was going to college, and then we would do the overnight shift at a 24-hour grocery store. And after the Thanksgiving rush, we were working at night, and the store was actually closed. But as a person that works overnight, we were kind of responsible for restocking all the shelves. And so even though the store was closed, we had to work, and we kind of rushed in because we didn't have anybody shopping. We didn't have customers to deal with. We got done with our work rather quickly. And so what we ended up doing was we blocked off one of the aisles. We got a bunch of frozen turkeys, and we got a number of those soda bottles, the 2-liter soda bottles, and we started lining them up like bowling pins, and we used the frozen turkeys and started bowling down the aisle. And of course, our manager was in, or the night manager was in on this. Actually, it was his idea, I think. And we all just had a ball just bowling with frozen turkeys down the aisle. And much to our surprise, we didn't know that the security cameras were turned on, so they recorded us doing that. Needless to say, all of us got busted the next day, but we didn't care. We were just having fun and just blowing off steam. Okay, so we got the ball all fabrics are all tucked in. It's not perfect, but we're about to, well, I'm about to show you how you can use your embellishments to hide all these imperfections. So, but before I do, let's see if we got any comments. Katie Kraft says, I'm cooking the turkey this year. Love pumpkin pie. Oh, good luck to you, Katie. Good night, everyone. Thanks for demonstrating, Eric. I'll watch the rest on replay. Thank you. Thanks for joining, Kelly. Good night. Remo J says she's making her mincemeat pie and pound cake with caramel bourbon drizzle. All homemade. That sounds good. Call it your cheat day. That's exactly what it is, Jim. It's a cheat day for everybody. Chris Smith says crust equals starch. Did I miss something? Jim says I still count carbs and now have to watch potassium. Actually, I need potassium in my diet. Sandra K says, going with my son to his in-laws and hoping to find something picky. Oh, okay. She's a picky eater. Okay, so hopefully she'll find something. Barb McKinley says, pumpkin is a vegetable, so good for you, even with whipped cream. Had it for breakfast this week. Well, I like that logic, Barb. Okay, and this fabric keeps popping out, so I have to tuck it back in. Okay, so there is our ornament, and I am going to do, let's see, where did the ribbon go? There it is. So this ribbon that I used on this particular ornament, it's a, what is it, a 5/8? It's a polyester ribbon. How wide is it, though? It doesn't say. 1/4 inch. Okay, you can use something wider. Like these ribbons here I got from the Dollar Tree. This is, I think, a 1/2 inch. It'll work too, or it could work. Just for my taste, though, it was a little bit too wide. I mean, you could still use it. Okay, the point of it is to just kind of cover the seams. So there's 2 things that you can do with it. I'm just going to use the ribbon to kind of cover up the seams and all of those imperfections in the seams. So you could either, I'm going to actually hot glue it down, but there have been times where I've just taken dressmaker pins, or if you got some kind of decorative pin with a pearl head and you got a number of them, like one of these, you could use these pins and just kind of take your ribbon, lay it on the seam, and just take a pin and start pinning it. Ooh, that hurt. So In fact, or maybe I'll just use these dressmaker pins to just kind of pin it down. There we go. And sorry, I got neighbor's kids running. There. And this is where you can kind of get more creative as to how you want to embellish the ornament. So sometimes I will take a pin and let's dress it up a little bit. I got this package of beads that I'm still working on. I've had this for a number of years. I'll take, just when you embellish stuff, this is where you just let your imagination run wild or take over and see what you can kind of create. So I got a container of these little small seed beads. I'm going to take one of these beads, put it in, that's two. And I got one of these crystal bead things, and I can take this one out for a second, and I'm going to insert it right on the center. So what I'm kind of doing is using my thumb to figure out where that equator line was. So it's right about there. And I will just pop that in there. And we'll do another one, just wrapping the ribbon all the way around. We'll do another one of these pins. If I can pick up the pin. Okay, just grab another one. And I know I got a bead right there. Whoops. Oh, drop that one. I'm not gonna go hunting for it. And I'll get another crystal. Insert that on. Okay. And equator's right about there, so put it there. Okay, then I'm back to the top, or back where I started. So I'm going to place a pin right there, but I'm not going to push the pin all the way in. I'm just going to leave it about sticking out so I can pull it out later. Then I'm just going to pivot the ribbon and go down the next seam. Pick up my seed bead. Let's see. Hey Carissa, thanks for joining here tonight. And it's about there, so let me grab the ribbon again. Go to the other side. I will pick up. You know, once I was actually crazy enough to, on a particular ornament for a very special person, that special person being Mom, instead of using ribbon, instead of using the ribbon to cover up all the seams here, I actually kind of pinned little beads all the way around, covering up all the seams, and that took forever to do. But the ornament was for Mom, so it was worth it, and she was happy with it. Now that we're back at the top, I'm gonna pull that pin out just for a second and put it back in. Oops, sorry. Didn't realize I was out of frame. And we start going down the next seam. Hey, Lori. It's right there. And then I will pick up on somehow I think hot gluing this might have been easier, but this is more decorative. Okay, then we got one last one here. Sorry, I keep going out of frame. Pick up a pin. Pick up a seed bead here. And a crystal bead. I shall insert that one right there. And we got the last one here. And now that we got all sides covered, I'm going to push that in there, and then I'm going to secure one more, use one of these pins to actually hold all of that together. Then I can trim off the ribbon there. Now, it is kind of popping up there at the top. So, and then kind of, I'm just going to kind of smooth out or pull out the bulk of that excess and maybe put a few extra pins up there. Okay. Now, if I were to use the hot glue, it would actually just kind of stay down and stay put too. So, which is why a lot of times I will hot glue it down instead of just using pins like this, because it could also potentially shift. Okay. Now I'm not concerned about how everything looks up here because I'm about to cover all of that. I do want to make sure that the bottom half of it looks pretty decent because that is going to be seen. And I can insert do one last of these pins. So I'm going to insert that. Try and get it in the center. And that's just more or less to hold everything down there. So, okay. So there's that. And I'm going to use this white ribbon to make my bow. I'm probably going to add more stuff to it later, but I just want to get this bow kind of wrapped up. So, and Tiff, if you're still on, this is the ribbon that we got from your stash. So thank you very much. Let's see, how big do I want this? Maybe a little too big there. Okay, I better close that before I drop it again. Let's see. First of all, let me cut the hanger. So I'm gonna take a pin, take one of these pins. I'm gonna pin the edge, take one of the edges, put that pin through there, take the other side of it, and this red ribbon is going to be the hanger for the ornament. So I'm going to pin that on first. Then I'll take this white ribbon, which is going to end up being the bow. I'm going to insert the pin there. Make a loop that's about 3 inches long. Yeah, that's about 3 inches. And let's see, this is a double-sided ribbon, so you can't really tell the back from the front. So fortunately, I can just kind of loop it around, make another loop that's about the same. Nope, that's a little too small. And I'm just going to eyeball this. Right about there should be good, yep. And just make another loop at the top. Now these loops don't have to be exactly the same, but what I'm basically doing is just creating a loop, pinning it, or running the pin down through the center of the ribbon. Sorry, Let me move into the camera. Running a loop. Pinning or running that pin in the center. Okay, that one's a little too small. And run another loop there. Run the pin through it. And I usually do between 5 and 7. If I'm planning on adding more, or it just depends on what I'm going to add to it after I get this, or after I create the bow. So sometimes, like in this ornament here, you can kind of see I added the bells into it, in which I did 5 loops on each side, but sometimes I go up to 7, just if I'm not gonna make or put any other embellishments in the bow, then yes, I'm gonna kind of make the bow rather full. So I think I need one more. And sorry, I know I keep going out of view, so I'm sorry about that. And which, okay, so I think that's good. I'm gonna cut my ribbon. And this is gonna be one heck of a big bow. Yeah, it's the top. Now, before I actually insert the bow to the top, I'm just gonna run some hot glue. Do a dollop of hot glue there. And that'll help to kind of secure it down. I'm gonna run the pin, kind of like get some glue onto the pin before I start inserting it. And there, I'll stick it all down. Okay, that was too big a bow, but I'm gonna probably zhuzh it up or do something with it later on and add more stuff to it, but or I can just take it off and redo the bow. That ended up being a little too big. Kind of looks like a toupee for an ornament. Okay, then, whoops, pin came out. Okay. So what happened here was the pin, I just kind of pulled on the ribbon and it came off. So when that happens, no problem. Just use some glue, put a drop of it right there. I will glue this part back. Right on there, and I'm going to grab a more decorative and a longer pin that has one of these pearl heads on there, and I'm going to just insert it down all the way. Okay, I do find that if you're attaching the hanger, you might want to get one of these more decorative pins with the pearl heads on, and not use, these are dressmaker pins, by the way. The dressmaker pins for the hanger is not really good because, as you saw, it's very easy to just kind of pull that ribbon out. But there you go. I'm going to be adding maybe some bells or something in here so that the ribbons or the loops on the bows actually stand up, so that it kind of looks more like that. But I don't know where I put my bells, so I might have to go out and buy some more. Okay, we got 3 ornaments done. Well, 3 not fully done, but I still want to work on it some more. But there you have it. Okay, let me scroll up for a second because I know I missed a lot of stuff. Hey, Carissa. Carissa says, I woke back up and realized you were on, Erica. I'm glad I did. The ornaments are beautiful. Thank you. Hi, Shirley. And Shelly Julian came in. Hey, Shelly. Diane Watson says, looks good, though. Thank you, Diane. And I got a few beads in there that I can kind of put back. And let's see, Irish Sail Lady says, hi, Eric and everyone. Christmas decorations. Can't believe it's that time of the year already. Yes, it is. Going to Daughter's for Thanksgiving to cook all day and eat lots of goodies. How about you? Well, I'll be out adventuring. Yeah, the family will come up to, we all meet up in Las Vegas, but I think in recent years we're kind of tired of going to Vegas, so we all been kind of doing our own thing. I know Mom's staying home. She will have to cook for my brother's family, and I'm not sure what my other brother is doing. But yeah, I will be in Las Vegas, and again, from Vegas I'll be driving into the western part of Utah, southern Utah. Planning on visiting Bryce Canyon. It'll be my first visit to Bryce Canyon. I've been to Utah a number of different times. Love exploring out there. It's just beautiful, in my opinion. So yeah. Okay, so I got these ornaments. They're all the same fabrics and kind of just decorated differently. So yeah, I got. I can't believe I'm making this many. 60 more to go. But they're pretty quick. They're pretty fairly simple to do. And usually when I do ornaments like this, I will cut all the fabric pieces out at once. I will prepare the styrofoam balls all at once. I'll get everything prepped, and then I start doing creating them. One other style of ornament, maybe I'll do this next week, but it's the same style. And I created this ribbon poinsettia in which you could also use that to decorate. So there's different things you can do with this style of ornament. It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly like this. You can be as creative as you want to be. There's also, look at what they have in Michael's, because there's different types of trims that you can use. So I did find this, in which I could use that in the seams here. Sometimes this here was, I just actually took one of those garlands that they have at craft stores and just kind of cut a few pieces off to create that look. Am I going this way? Yep, this look here. I'm not happy with this bowl though, so I'm gonna see if I can kind of salvage it and do something with it. But point being, just see what's in your craft stash, see what you got, see what's available. And I mean, you don't have to necessarily go to the expensive craft stores. Believe it or not, Dollar Tree or the dollar stores has a lot of these small type of embellishment type of things, like these bells I actually got from the Dollar Tree. So you can use things like that. Just be creative with it. Okay. Okie dokie. So we got first ornament done. just got 60 more to do. So let me catch up on some comments. Donna Hoskin is saying, those are beautiful. Thank you, Donna. They look great. Thank you, S. Taylor. My parents went to Bryce Canyon years ago. It's absolutely stunning. I'm looking forward to it, Kim. I just hope that it's not going to get snowed out. Donna Hoskins says, Eric, did you see Ian got a passport to collect stamps from the different national parks? Wonder if there's a stamp for Bryce Canyon. Actually, Donna, there is. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's a little booklet. They call it the passport, but every national park, national forest, any kind of national lands, I guess. Any property that falls within the national park system or the national forest system, you can go to the visitor center. They can issue and get the booklet stamped, and that's just a record for you to say that you visited that national park. I considered doing the passport, but instead what I'm actually doing is I'm collecting the official national park, or each park also has a little like patch that you can buy. And I'm collecting those patches, and I do have a panel somewhere that I just purchased when I was at Houston. And I plan on just taking each of those patches and sewing it onto that panel with all the different national parks on there. So, yeah, I am aware of the passport, but I opted not to do the passport. I'm going to do the patch or purchase patches at each of these parks that I visit. And it's just a good way of record keeping all the places that you go or that you've seen. So I got so far Arches, Death Valley, Canyonlands, and we're about to add Bryce. Oh, and Grand Canyon. And hopefully there'll be more in the near future. Okay. Yep. So that's all for tonight. We're about an hour and a half. I didn't realize, well, of course, everything takes longer for me to do on a live. But yeah, so I'll be doing more craft-like things on lives. Starting, well, I have to get a whole ton of ornaments done, so, which is why I did this one tonight. I do have to make a wreath for my door, so I might be doing that the next time around, but we'll see. Just if you don't have your notification, or if your notifications, or if you're not subscribed, first of all, subscribe to the channel. Please do so, and hit the bell for notifications. It's usually around this time of year, towards December, going towards Christmas, that I will do a lot of impromptu lives or unscheduled lives. So, just keep your or just make sure that you are getting the notifications. And of course, if you miss a live session, you can always catch the replay to it. I may or may not be going live this Saturday again because, yeah, I tend to do a lot of crafting during this time of the year. So, it's always nice to have, or turn on the camera and just do a live session, kind of impromptu. So I may be doing one this weekend, but we'll see. But just make sure that you do have your notifications working. And again, if you miss it, you can always catch the replay. Okay. Donna Hoskins says, yes, I saw the panel that you got. Both good ideas. Oh, thank you, Donna. Well, that is it for tonight. I want to say thank you guys for joining me here. I know you guys have a lot of choices in the people that you can join, but for some reason you chose this crazy YouTube weirdo, so I fully appreciate that. So yeah, Lori Clark says, popped in to give a thumbs up. We'll watch later. Sorry, no problem, Lori. Thanks for stopping by, though. Crystal L says, hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm coming in late tonight. Well, Crystal, no problem. but you'll probably want to catch the replay on all of this. Barbara McKinley says, thanks, Eric. I'm going to catch the parts I missed. So thank you for stopping by, Barb. Donna Hoskins says, don't forget prairie points. I have been adding them to my ornaments done with the little bits of ribbon, not the whole thing. Oh, okay. I shall do that on a future live real soon too. Need to get crafting for Christmas. Oh, okay, that was Carissa. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for tonight. So thank you very much for joining me. And you know what I'm going to say, so let's all say it together. Let's all go out there and let's all create something. Mwah. Bye for now.